Today is our last day of performances. We're finishing! Oh my god, so sad!
毕业祝福师姐，努力实现自己的梦想，工作顺顺利利的，然后以后能找个非常好的老公。希望我变能减肥，
这好sad。
然后希望我们都快点结婚。
嗯，
幸幸福福的，
幸幸福福的，幸幸福福的。
Hi everyone, my name's Jenny and today's video I will be answering some questions you guys have on Shanghai Theatre Academy. Now this is an art school that I attended in Shanghai for 5 years. I asked for questions around September 2018, so I know it's been a long time. I was going to not make this video, but I still get questions every week about admissions process. How do I audition? Can I audition? So I don't want to tell you guys any wrong information, and I want to stress that it is always best to call the admissions office or the school directly, and if possible, if you have any family members in Shanghai, just to directly go to their office, because I know it's hard to get them on the phone. Don't even bother emailing them, because for some reason in China they don't really take emails as seriously. I will leave the information down below in the description box as well. So just a little quick introduction. I moved to Shanghai about 6 years ago to study at the Shanghai Theatre Academy. I did my BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I was in 表演音乐剧, so the acting course, but the musical theatre component of the acting course. So in order for me to get up to date with the whole admissions and audition process, I went online to the websites. I'll link their websites down below as well. Their websites are very tricky, confusing, and kind of useless sometimes. So back then, they did have an English translation, but it just wouldn't work. Now the English translation works, but it's not really identical to the Chinese webpage, and the translations are a little iffy. So you do have to register through their website, so you kind of have to figure their website out somehow, and it's best to get someone who speaks Chinese or a family member to help you out. So there is an international students website now, which is amazing. I thought I'd talk about all the courses that are available at the moment for bachelor's programs. If you're looking to do MFA or masters or any other program, I can't help you with that. I can't help you with that because I don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about it as well, so stop hogging the camera. So right now in bachelor's programs, I'm just reading my laptop, they have acting for theatre, TV and film. So if you're entering as an international student, these are the requirements. You have to have an international passport and you have to have spent at least 4 years plus overseas. You must be 18 years of age, and for some courses there is a cutoff date of how old you can be to enter this course. So for example, for 表演系, the acting course, I think you must be 21 and under to enter the course. Most other courses you can enter from 18 to 30 for bachelor's undergrad. You have to be a person of integrity and good conscience and have no criminal offenses attached to you. And also an important thing, because all the auditions are done in Chinese and all the courses in bachelor's program are Chinese, you must be able to speak some sort of level of Chinese, and how they determine that is through the HSK certificate. For this certificate, you have to be at a level of 4 and above and have 220 marks and above, whatever that means. So the registration is actually in January. So this year's registration has already closed for 2019 entry into the school, but this gives you a whole year to prepare, which usually people take anyway. They take it very seriously. They do courses, they brush up on their dancing and their singing and their acting. So make sure to check on the website for information about when the registration is. Alright, so now on to some of the questions. How many international students are in the whole university? Now speaking of the bachelor's program, from my year, I think 2 or 3. I did repeat a year because I changed courses, and the previous year at auditions there were 3, and me and this other girl, both from Melbourne, Australia. But both of those girls went for the 主持系. So this one is from Janice. What languages do you speak in uni? You predominantly speak Mandarin. For our course, because it's musical and we sing songs in English for Broadway theatre, we did have to have English lessons as well. I think most of the otother courses you all have to 学 like 大学英语 as part of the curriculum, but everything is done in Chinese, and those lessons are kind of, I don't think they really help anyone. So Chinese, 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 Mandarin. This one is from Katie. Was it hard getting used to the cultural change? Were there times you were homesick? Definitely, because I lived in the dorms and everything as well, so I kind of got thrown into this entirely new world. For me, I am a person of Chinese background and I have visited China numerous times when I was younger, but it was still a culture shock. I was so homesick. I wanted to kind of quit the course and come home like every single week. I was also not on the main campus for my first year. I was on Lianhua Lu, which is far from my auntie and uncle's house. I didn't really have time to go home and visit them, and just far from the Shanghai that I was used to visiting when I was younger. But the other campus on Huashanlu, which is in Jing'anchu, which is like the epicenter of Shanghai, that one's really nice. So try get into that one. Does your school offer master's degree, and is it difficult to get in as bachelor's degree? Yes, they do offer master's degree. I have a friend who's in masters of acting. I think a lot less people go for it, and there are a lot more international students who go for it. I would actually recommend you go to the master's degree because they get a lot of international teachers who fly in and teach the course, and you get a lot of workshops as well. And for the acting course, you do get to take the foundation classes with the first years and the bachelor class as well. So you get like the best of both worlds. I would say like the master's degree sounds great. Like, haven't done it, but it sounds. This one is from Mr. in Shadow. Why Shanghai? Was the program in Chinese? How long was that? And what was your background to enter this? Why Shanghai? I know there's a lot of art schools in Beijing as well, but I chose to go to Shanghai because we have family in Shanghai, and Beijing would have been like a whole new country, a whole new city. At least Shanghai, I had people who could look after me, and I kind of knew the city a little bit already. How many years is the program? So the undergraduate bachelor's program is for 4 years. This one's from Amy. Is there anyone in your year who is a celebrity in China now? So for my course in the first and second years, you're not allowed to go out and do work and get jobs or anything. It differs from course to course and from teacher to teacher, but it's basically frowned upon. And then only in third and fourth year are you allowed to go out and 实习, which is like intern, but only if you're like 女一, 男一, like you're the lead in a film, or it's a really, really good director and they have to kind of like write a letter to the school and like petition for you to be part of it. So it's kind of hard, but obviously people do go out on film. I remember a couple kids went out during third year and they got signed and they've been working a lot. I don't know if they're like famous, but I know they've done a lot of like 网剧 and 网大, like online movies and online TV shows. But there are like famous people who have come out of the school. Maybe not my specific class yet. So this one's from Lucy. Is there a quota of international students that the university is limited to? There must be some sort of specific quota, but it's not made obvious. So the year that I auditioned, which would have been 2013, I obviously wanted to go into the acting course, but I was told that the dean at the time didn't want to take in any international students because it would kind of drag the class behind and they would have to like re-explain things to me, which I totally understand. So they advised me to audition for another course, which was the musical theater course, but like Chinese Beijing opera musical theater. So I did that one and the acting one. So you're allowed to apply for up to 3 courses, and a lot of people do that and they will audition for all 3 courses because it is very competitive, very hard to get into the acting course. I was reading this article and it said in 2017 22,000 applicants applied for Shanghai Theatre Academy, where the rate of popular majors such as performing arts, 表演系, is expected to be less than 0.4%. So a lot of people audition for the Beijing schools like 中央系, Beijing 电影学院, and they also do Shanghai 音乐学院 and 上戏 and 上大, so to maximize their chance of getting into one of the schools and one of the courses. This one is from Stephanie. Did you ever feel pressured by your family to pick something more practical? I mean, of course, I'm Asian. Your family either wants you to be a doctor or a lawyer or go into commerce or something. So when I was in Australia, I was in arts law for 1 semester, and I was trying to keep my parents happy. So I was like, I'm going to defer this and I'm going to go to China for like 1 to 2 years, get it out of my system and come back. So my parents let me do that, and then I never ended up going back to that uni, and I never ended up finishing that course, and I ended up dropping it. I still got HECS to pay for. But I'm lucky where my mom was always kind of supportive. She would drive me to like the short film auditions and pick me up at like 4 a.m. in the morning after shooting, so she was always quite supportive, but of course she wanted me to do something stable as well. But she said, if you really want to do this, go audition for a school in China, because she saw how much I was struggling in Australia, because at the time Asians really weren't popular in TV and film. So she said, if you really want to go for it, do it 100%, go to China, audition for it, and if you don't like it, come back and we'll continue our regular programming. This one is from Daffy. During your studies, did you struggle because of language barrier? If so, how did you cope with it? Definitely. Even auditions, I was constantly in a state of like confusion. I had no idea what was going on, and I didn't realize that, this sounds really dumb, but all the different provinces in China obviously have different dialects, but I didn't realize that they would kind of have like a 口音, like an accent from that dialect as well. So I found it really hard to understand people. So during the audition process, I was very lucky that the course that I was auditioning for, which was the musical theater one, there was a teacher who acted and worked in America, and he spoke fluent English, so he talked to me in English a lot of the times, but we did have to do like improv exercises during the audition, and I kind of just like fumbled my way through. And for first year uni, I basically didn't really speak that much because I realized I couldn't really speak Chinese and I didn't really understand what anyone was saying. So I kind of just stood there the whole time, and then I would have to do like a lot of my own study, like when we had 台词课, which is speech and reading and stuff. I would have to pinyin every single word, and I would have to Google translate every single word because I had no idea what I was reading, let alone having to memorize things. But people were generally nice to me. They would ask me questions and they would ask me if I didn't understand something, and the teacher was quite patient as well. It was a really, really big struggle for the first year, but I did my best, and I think everyone else tried their best as well. It wasn't until second year when I started working at the radio where I was really forced to speak Mandarin every single day while recording demo shows that my Chinese got better. This one is from Stephanie, and a lot of people ask me this as well. Can you speak and write Chinese well before going to Shanghai Theatre Academy? I did VCE Chinese, so we did have to write and we did have to memorize and practice Chinese, but we did get a dictionary, so it's relatively easy. I mean, I thought I was pretty good at second language Chinese for VC in Australia. When I got to China, I couldn't even ask for like which bus stop this was. I couldn't even ask for a bowl of noodles. And I couldn't read any of the textbooks. Everything was just scribbles to me. So I did have a background in learning Mandarin Chinese, but when I got there, it was next to nothing. So when I got to China, people were confused. So I explained it as, you guys learned English in high school, right? And they're like, yeah. And then I was like, can you speak English now? Can you hold a conversation with me? And they're like, no. They're like, we have no idea what we learned. So basically, that's how I felt. A couple more questions as well that I received was, should I take lessons in singing, dancing, acting, etc.? And I would definitely say yes, especially since you've got another year to the next auditions. Even if you're going for 导演系 directing, or you're going for 木偶系 puppeteering or acting, basically every round of the auditions will have singing and dancing in it. A lot of people do traditional Chinese dance or like martial arts performance or something. Basically it's like a showcase. You just have to show them your talent. So you can do any type of dance, tap dancing, jazz, etc., ballet. Do take note that a lot of kids come out of a arts high school where they did dance, where they did singing, etc. So a lot of the girls in my class were all from the Beijing Ballet School, and oh my gosh, their ballet and flexibility was amazing. So it was like very hard to compete against that, you know what I mean? If you're international, I would say go for something cultural to your home base, or go for something kind of modern or jazzy. Don't go for ballet unless you're like amazing at it, because odds are there's going to be kids from the ballet school and they're going to kick your ass. Regarding songs for the musical course, obviously you have to sing Broadway musical songs, which would have been in English. A lot of the kids did sing Chinese songs. I went in with my guitar and I sang, which is something different because everyone else just sang a cappella, which is what you kind of have to do. But I just thought I'd bring my guitar along, and I think that made me stand out a little as well. Now, I actually sang Price Tag by Jessie J. Yeah. And then I sang like 我的歌声里 by 曲婉婷 with the piano. Like I did the 伴奏 accompaniment myself, so that was also like another talent show as well. So definitely get brushed up on your singing, dancing, acting things. And also during the first round, you also have to 朗诵一首诗, which is like reciting a poem. So you have to memorize it, and it has to be in Chinese. We did hire a teacher when I got to China a week prior to auditions, and I memorized the entire thing a week prior to the auditions. Had no idea what I was memorizing. And they also do like improvisational acting things as well. So brush up on everything as much as you can, because some of these kids have been in training courses for like years, or they've done high school arts schools as well. I also wanted to note the audition process as well, because a lot of people have questions about that. You can find all the information on their website, which is like the 招生网, which is zs.sta.edu.cn. I'm just gonna read the most popular one, which is acting for 表演. So 初试, which is the first stage, you have to do 台词, which is the poem reciting that I said. Second is 形体或者声乐, like you have to showcase either a dance, body movement number, or a song, and it's usually a cappella, and then that's it. And then for 复试, which is the second stage, you have to do a 表演, like an acting thing. I think it's like a monologue or something. And then for 语言, you have to do a 即兴朗诵. So they might give you like a poem and you have to recite it kind of off the spot. See, for me, they were doing Shakespeare in Chinese, but obviously I couldn't freaking read it. So the teacher actually gave me a piece of Shakespeare in English, and I just read it on the spot and just make it as animated and theatrical as possible, I guess. And then for 声音, which is sound, a lot of people will sing a part of the song. So they usually don't sing the full song. Like usually I think I only got to sing the chorus or the first verse in the chorus, and they'll usually stop you. I got up to the second stage for acting. They actually got us to sing as loud as possible one line of the song to the other building. So basically we all had to shout out one line of the song. A lot of people weren't like that good at singing, so I wouldn't be too nervous about it. And a lot of people were like super quiet, and the teacher would be like louder, louder, and they just couldn't get any louder. So the fourth section, of course, is dance one again. So you can do like 武术体操, so you can even do like gymnastics or anything, just something to do with your body moving. And for my my second stage of acting, we also did some improvisational acting exercises. So they got us to walk in one line and you had to somehow get the attention of the person in front of you. So people will be like, oh, can I get your number? So you just kind of think of them as a character and you set yourself as a character and you just create. So my one was, oh, you stepped in dog poo, your foot's dirty, and everyone laughed, so I thought it was pretty funny. And then the last stage, they do another acting exercise, and then they have a 即兴测试, so kind of like an on-the-spot test, which could be singing, it could be 台词, like speech, or it could be a dance as well. And then the third stage is 面试, which is like an interview. They ask me questions in Chinese, like how are you going to learn Chinese, how are you going to learn 成语, how are you going to cope with the 台词 and stuff, how are you not going to drag the class behind. So for the musical one, it was slightly different. For our last and final stage, it was so long, it lasted for like 4 to 5 hours, and there were only, I think, like 30 people left. We just needed to get rid of 5 people so we could all get in, but I'm guessing for the acting one, they would have had like at least 100 people left, because for the second stage in acting, I think there were like still 500 people. Do be prepared to prepare 2 songs and 2 dance numbers, because usually for the second and the third stage, you can't repeat things that you've done before. And then for the audition process, it was like strenuous. It would start at like 8 a.m. on the day, and in March in Shanghai, it's still freezing, and you would have to wait on the oval for you to be called in. It was just lines and lines and lines of people, so there'd be multiple auditions going on at the same time, and they usually post the results at night, and your next audition, your next stage could be early as the next day. So sometimes you wouldn't know until 10 p.m, but then the next day you had your audition at 8 a.m. again. Each audition is so long, it's like 4 to 5 hours, and you have to do it in front of everyone. Everyone just sits in a room, and you have like 10 teachers sitting at the front. It'll be like the dean, the specific teachers from that course, and then they might have like a celebrity guest judge or something as well. Like the other year we had Hong Dawei, I think that's what it's called, like a past actor from the school who's now doing very well for himself. So be prepared to perform in front of like 50 people. I just went with the philosophy of I'll probably not get into the school, so I'll probably never see these people again. So hopefully that answered some of your questions about the school. Obviously, if you have any more questions or some of this was confusing, do call directly to the school or go directly to the school to ask, because my uncle lived in Shanghai, so he went to the admissions office and was like, what's up? Like, this is confusing. I'll be uploading a new video every week. Let me know down below some videos you would like to see from me, and make sure you subscribe to see next week's video. Bye!